shows ISTLNE. That is up there. Now 17 is regular consonants, one more vowel. You have 10 seconds to try.
was me calling one.
Are you in the living room? You're there?
I was there, yeah.
Because the lights is on.
Yeah. No, because I was in a call engine movies, but they didn't pick up. But she told me to do something if they didn't pick up.
Well, you can use it. Let me hear. Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Mario. How are you?
Okay, and you?
Baruch Hashem, very good, very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah. All right. So
Oh.
What did you say, Jojo? Did you hear me?
No. Yeah, I like this one. Where is everybody?
yeah. Where's there?
It's the summer. It's the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
Oh. See, Mario, you got to be on time. Everybody else doesn't. Yeah,
I'm always on time.
I know you are. You're always on time. I know. But you got.
All right. Hi, Ernie.
What do you mean?
Susie, I went to a wedding by Johnny Show at Hillcrest Country Club. I have never seen a chuppah and the wedding. I'll show you the pictures. I've never seen. I mean, I couldn't stay because I'm coming home to Esty and she has your side tonight. But I've never seen a wedding like this. Such a beautiful wedding. The boy was from Zula, the girls from Shalem. It was just beautiful.
Send a picture. Send a picture.
I'll send the pictures to Ernie's phone.
Who's the caterer?
Yeah, who was the girl who married who?
Johnny Schoen's daughter married some the next door neighbor across the road.
You're off. So that's a derisa, right? That's a derisa, not a rabban. If he marries Shichareshes and he marries her off when she's a katana. So what's the scenario when she becomes a gedola? The father has no more involvement in it. So what is her
No, if a father can marry off a Ketana and a Chreshes
right,
when she's, because he's accepting Kesef Kiddushin.
right.
He
So
has the Kinyan. So
so
that's Kiddushin Midaraisa.
so that's derisa, right? So what happens when she becomes a gedola? What is the scenario?
You can't have anything more than Kiddushin Daraisa.
Yeah, so therefore, if a man, if it just came a situation, she couldn't be choletzes because she couldn't speak, but she could do yavoma because that's a derisa, and then
No, she's a married woman. So she's married Midaraisa.
derisa, right?
So Midaraisa, so the husband dies,
Right.
he falls to Yibum.
So the brother, and so
Chlitza would not be allowed.
he can't do chaletzes.
He could marry her and divorce her.
That's what she does, yeah. As a so that how does that differ from a drabana where the mother and the father marries her? The same thing would be the same thing with the Zerais and drabana.
We learned yes. No, it's not the same. Remember, if she is Megadol, if she becomes a Godol, so then the Kiddushin becomes Doraisa. If he that's the machlokes Rav and Shmuel, whether if she have Be'ila after she's a Godel, then the Kiddushin becomes Doraisa.
Can the Charishas be Mayan? Does she have the ability to be Mayan? Huh?
You mean as a Ketana?
Well, when she
Miyun as a Ketana.
Right. So can she be Mayan when
why not?
Charishas, how does she have the seichel to do that? Does she have to have das to do that?
I mean, a Ketana doesn't have das.
So she's no different whether Chareshus or not. Either way, she can be mine.
Either way, if they have no das. So, but Miyun they have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're on Kuf Yud Aleph. The shir today is Lezecha Nishmas Leah Bas Rav Yitzchak. That's Leah Bronner. Alea Shalom. It's her yard site.
Thank you, Ernie.
So the Gemara says, Taste of Gabe Mimon of Shech. The issue we're dealing with whether it's a katana, is it a question of 100% or 0%, or it's mishuyeres. And chereshes, we said the same. It's chereshes also. If you say chereshes is knuya v'ene knuya, chereshes on my kornes and be a get. Why do you say that the only way for her to get out is him to marry her and then give a get? Taste of gabemi marriage. Let her stay married. Because iknuyahi, if it's a good kinyan, aknuyahi, then it's a good kinyan. Vilav knuyahi, anachris balmihi. Then she's a strange woman, because if her marriage to the brother that died were not really marriage, so then she can go out and marry anybody she wants without chlitza. You can ask the same thing. Why should we have the ketana wait until she's an adult and get chlitza? Again, taste of gabe. She should just stay married. Iknuyahi. If the kinyan is 100%, aknuyahi. And if it's lav knuyahi, nochri sabalmi. It's also, she was not a married woman because not a kinyan, and therefore there's no yibum. So, based on, however, in Ken Chreshes B'mat Tepuk, a Chreshes you can't give Chlitza. And you can't do Bia because maybe the Ketana was Knuya to her, and she would not, it would puzzle the co-wife. You're only allowed to do Yibum to one, not to two. So, Amrav Sheish Lachinami Mistafa, Kedi Komentar Rav Chizda Libid Rav. We are metaritz like Rav Chizda, the Tanya. Two brothers married to two sisters, but the sisters were married off
Come happy.
Were married off by the brothers of the mother. So it's rabbinic kiddushin. a ketana v'chareshes. And one was a ketana, one was a chareshes. Meis baila shel ketana, and the ketana falls to the husband of the chareshes. So they're sisters. So chareshes yotze beget. He should divorce the chareshes. Uktana tamdinat should tagdil. Allow the ketana to grow up, v'tachlots, and get chlitza. Can't marry either of them because they're sisters. But this way, the two women go out to be married elsewhere. Meis baila shel chareshes. If the husband of the chareshes dies and the chareshes falls to the bala ketana, he divorces the ketana. Ketana yotze beget. The chareshes asur lo olam. There's no way to get rid of the chareshes. He can't do yibum because he's married their sisters, and he can't do chlitza to her. So she's a forbidden woman forever. Now, if he violates the law and lives with her, in bala chareshes noisen laget v'hutra. It so happens that if he's over in Aveira, he can give her a get, and that'll matter her. The Gemara brings his proof. If a chareshes, it's not 100 or 0, but it's like a weak Indian. But ketana is different. Ketana was mesupik, either 100% kinyan or 0. Mishum hachi, for that reason. The chibala chareshes. That's why if he had relations with the chareshes, nosen la get v'hutra, he's able to give her a get and she becomes permitted. Why? The amrit mimanavshach. Iktana knuyi. If the ketana was a full wife, so then it would, if this sister would be an erva, and she goes out as a mishamachos isha. Remember, Tate say beli chlitz and beli yibum. And if the ketana was lav knuya, so then she was the only wife that was married, shapir miyabe. So it only works if you say the chareshes is knuya u'mishyeres and the ketana is knuya v'nekunya. Because if you go the other way, yamet chareshes knuya v'nekunya, ketana knuya u'mishyeres, kibal chareshes amaynos and get v'hutra. It wouldn't work because havile be a psula, u'bi a psula lo pater wouldn't pater, because it wouldn't break the zika. So the Gemara answers, Hamani Rab Nechemyehi. The Omer bia psula poteres machlitza. He holds that even a weakened bia will pater. He Rab Nechemyehi is sefer. But then say the sefer. Misha and Nasi stay somas. Man had 2 wives, 2 girls who had been married to him by the brothers. Ketana v'chreshes. V'meis, and he died. And these 2 women fall to a brother. But Yavim ala Ketana, if the Yavim has relations with the Ketana, v'chazer u'balach reshes. Now he's not allowed to live with both of them, but he went ahead and lived with both of them. Or he lived with the Ketana, and another brother lived with the Chreshes. Nesru shtein alav. So they're prohibited women. Ketza takanta. Chreshes yoitzis beget. The brother who lived with the Chreshes can give her a get. Ketana tamti machetagla v'tachlos. So iyamid bishmal Chreshes knuya mushri yeres ketana knuya v'ene knuya v'rabbanan he not Rav Nechemya, where the bia psula paters. Shumachi, that's why the bia psula doesn't do anything. You have to tamti machetagla v'tachlos. You have to wait for the ketana to get older. The dilma kodamu bal chreshes bereisha, because maybe either that husband or the brother lived with chreshes first. Vavile bia the ketana bia psula, and therefore since it'd be an iserdik bia, it's a bia psula and it wouldn't work unless you hold like Rav Nechemya, but we don't. Eliyamet Rav Nechemya ha'amar bia psula patara, so you wouldn't need to go tag deal ad shetichlots. You can't use the teretz of Rav Nechemya. It has to be Rabban. Ravashi. Mereisha nami shma min rabbanani, that a bia psula doesn't work. Biktani. Bolach reshes, he's not allowed to live with the chreshes. If he violated the law and lived with her, in a way, it benefits her. Noisin laget v'hutra. And you notice it doesn't say v'loktani im bolach tana noisin laget v'hutra. Because that would be a psula. And therefore we hold like Rabbanan. However, the Gemara says, no, that's not a proof. There's another svara. Chreshes less late takana dehetera. The only way out for this chreshes is for him to violate the law and live with her, even though he was not allowed to live with her. Then, if he violated the law, he can give her a get and she goes out. So, by chreshes to less late takana dehetera ktani takana disura. It only mentioned the case which is really be'isr. But Ketana, the Islita candidate, by Ketana, there's no Isser. You just let her become 12 years old, and then she's machlitz. That's beheter. So therefore, even though you could have given a bia psula answer, lo tani takanta disur, because you have a takanta detera. Mishnah. Mishaya nasr l'shtei soimes ketanas. We quoted this Mishnah. Reuven is married to two women. The women are not related, but they're both ketanois that got married by their mother or brother. So we know it's only Kiddushin Drabon. And then he dies. The two women fall to one of his brothers. Ubo Yovim ala Rishona, v'chazru bala shniya. The same brother lived with both women. Oh, Shabachi Valashniya. He lived with one and his brother lived with the other. Now, it's an Isser. You're only allowed to build one bias from a dead brother, not two batim. But loy posel es harishona. The bia of the second bia doesn't posel the relationship with the first girl. Because at least in this case, Rashi says, Bios and Shava, they're the same. They were both the same status. And if the Irishona Knuyahi, we have the Manavshach again. It's either Kanui or Lo Kanui. So if when he slept with the first woman, Ktana, it's a good kinyan, so Harei Ishto. And the second bia is only a biaznus. V'ilav Knuyahi, and it's only if it's not Kanui, so Harish de Nochrius said slow. So he's not related to either of them. So
Does it make a difference of when
the first one that he had relations was not nifsal to him. Lachrona lo, because Dilma Knuyas havu, and then you have the shtebatim problem. So the second one would be a psul to him, but not the first one. What were you saying, Elazar?
Yeah, the two brothers, they each took one of them. So did it make a difference who had it first, or if they, let's say, they did it at the same time?
Yeah, it makes a difference because the one who lived with the first one can stay married to her. Doesn't the bia does the second bia
because he did it first?
No, no, we just went through it in the Rashi because it's either konui or not konui by the bia of a ketana, and their bia is the same because they're both the same women. They were both ketanas. It would be different if one was a ketana and one was a gedola, as we're going to see. Here they were both the same. So when let's keep it simple. One brother lives with both of them. So when he lives with the first woman, so it's either complete kinyan and it's his wife, or it's nothing, it's a biaznus. And therefore, when he lives with the second one, it doesn't ruin what he did with the first one. However, when he lives with the second one, there's a tzad to say that that's a bias psul. Because if it's knuya, the first one, then the second one, you're not allowed to live with her. Because you're not allowed to build shnei batim from one brother. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Mishnah says, "V'chein shtei chershos." the din would be exactly the same. If a man is married to two deaf mutes, they're not related, he dies, and the two deaf mutes fall to one brother. So since the bia of both of them are exactly equal, because it's knuya mishieres, both of them. By ketana, it's knuya ve'ena knuya. So there's no difference between the first or second. Now, ketana v'chreshes is different. We've just learned that by ketana it's knuya ve'ena knuya. By chreshes it's knuya mishuyeres. It's a partial kinyan. It's not a suffix 100% versus 0%. So therefore, the bia by the brother is going to be different by the two of them, and therefore the halacha here will be different depending on who he lives with first. Or if he lives with the ketana first, and then either he lives with the chreshes or a brother lives with the chreshes, posal es ketana. Now they're going to have to get a divorce from the ketana. Rashi says mishum gzeira, because dilma kodem ubal chreshes peresha, only because of the possibility that maybe he would live with the chreshes first. So it's a low plug type of gzeira. Kedama b'gemara. Va'afa gav to b'manav shach, we said he's sharyalei, because either it's knuya and it's his wife, or rishoni knuya haknuyi, ilav knuyi not mitzvah, but we make a gzeira. And we passel the ketana. However, bo yovim alach reshes, if the brother lived with the deaf mute first, the chazer ubal ketana, or shabachi v'laktana, or another brother, also posel esach reshes. It also shema ketana knuya kula, v'kinyan reshes mushiyeres, because it's possible that the ketana makes a full kinyan, and the kinyan of the reshes is only partial. So you can't, the chreshes is certainly possible. Then you have pikches v'chreshes, a normal woman and a deaf mute. But yovim ala pikches, well, that's not going to be a problem. That becomes his wife. Chazer bala chreshes, or shebach bala chreshes, lo posel sa pikches, because that's minat Torah. She becomes his wife. You're not allowed to live with the second one, but it doesn't passel the first one. If the brother lived with the deaf mute first and then with the adult, or passel the chreshes is also nifsal, because you're not allowed to live with two batim, not allowed to make two batim. G'doilo ktana. One brother is married to an adult and to a ketana, and he dies, and they fall to yibum. Well, that's not a problem. The gedola is going to be a fully married wife. Or shebach v'aktana lo pasos ha'gedola. But yavam al ketana v'chazor bal ha'gedola. If the yavam lived with the ketana first, v'chazor bal ha'gedola shebach v'aktana pasos ha'getana, because of the shnei batim problem. Ablazer Omer. It's not a problem. Get rid of the nesuin, so he can stay married to the gedola. That malamdin aktana to do biyun. Utzricha. We need Shmuel and we need Rabbi Lozer. Yed marba'aka ba'isa ba'achkam or Shmuel Allah Rabbi Eliezer. Mishum de lo ki mitzvah yibum. We're talking about the sisters, because there no mitzvah yibum was taking place because it's an erva. So there we wanted the ketana to do miyun, so there could be a full mitzvah yibum. But here, where there was mitzvah yibum done, emet tarvayoliv could begin. Maybe you shouldn't, because they lived with two batim, maybe both should get a get. So we were told no. Just let the katana do miyun. Because initially there was a full-fledged adult. Aval idich lo. The other cases that with the sisters, the gedola was achos ishto, maybe it doesn't really fall in front of him because it's an erva. So there's no zika. Maybe there we shouldn't teach her to do miyun. Tzricha that we teach her to do miyun as well. Yavim kadin shabal yavama katana. You have a 10-year-old boy who had relations with an 8-year-old Yavama, right? Shimon was 10 years old. Reuven was married to an 8-year-old. And the 10-year-old had relations with the 8-year-old. Yigdalu zem zeh. He can't give her a divorce because only an adult can give a divorce. So they grow old together. And then either they stay married or he gives her a divorce. There's no chlitza. He already did yibum. The bia of a 9-year-old is halachic bia. Okay. Ba yavama gedola. If the 10-year-old boy had relations with a 15-year-old girl, tigadlenu. So again, they have to wait until he's an adult to decide whether he wants to divorce her or not. He can't get rid of her before then. Now, right? The purpose of Yibum is for them to have relations. So Reuven dies. Reuven's wife falls to Shimon. The woman comes to Bezdin within 30 days and says, you know, he didn't live with me. So Bezdin forces him to give her a chlitza. She has a get in her hand that the Yavim apparently gave her. And he says, no, I lived with her. I gave her a get. I don't have to give her chlitza. Because once I lived with her, she became my wife. I don't need chlitza. The get is enough. Bezdin forces him to give her chlitza because she claims that he didn't live with her. She's believed up until 30 days. Person can hold back himself for 30 days and not have bia. So we believe her that he didn't do bia within the first 30 days. La'achar shloshim yoim mevakshin hem min hashiach. We don't force, we ask him. He's believed that he slept with her. Because a person's not going to hold back for that long. Okay, by saying that she was not nival, so she needs chlitza. So she made her, Rashi says, by making the claim that he didn't sleep with her, so the yibum wasn't done, him giving her a get, the get doesn't do anything, and she needs a chlitza to get married to somebody else. Boy chlitza. So we ask him. But we don't force it because he did beila. There's a reason to believe that he has slept with her because the svara of beyond 30 days, nobody's going to hold back. Uvisman shehu modeh. Now, if he admits that he didn't sleep with her, so Bezdin, even after a year, forces him to give chlitza. She can't get married without it. Reuven and Shimon. And Reuven is alive. And Reuven's wife takes an oath. I'm never going to have hanoah from Shimon, even while the husband's alive. and then Reuven dies. Well, she's not allowed to benefit from Shimon, so she can't marry her. So, Koifin also Shiach Litzla. Bezdin forces him to give Chitza.
No, it says here, it doesn't compel him, just asks him to.
No, you're not reading the right place. Hanoideres hanona mi Yevama b'chaye baila. The first case. Reuven and Shimon are alive. While Reuven is alive, she takes an oath to say that I'm not going to have hanoah from Shimon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then Reuven dies. In that case, Bezdin forces a chlitza. Now, la'achar mitzvahs baila. When Reuven is alive, she never said anything. Now Reuven dies. There's a zikas yibum to Shimon. Now she wakes up and says, I don't want to have hanoah. So here, here you can't force because he has the right to do yibum if he wants. And if he doesn't want to give chlitza, he doesn't give chlitza. Now, if the whole purpose was to pater herself from chlitza or yibum, so even while the husband's alive, in this we don't force the chlitza because she has a weaker hand. Only. Let us say our mission is not like Rab Meir. The Tanya. Now, our Mishnah started off by saying, Yavim Katan Shaba Yavama Ktana. Yigdalu. Well, obviously, our Mishnah cannot be Rav Meir because Rav Meir holds that Ktanim cannot do Yibum. Why does Rav Meir hold? Because maybe the cotton will end up being a psoriasis, like a Klinefelter syndrome. He'll be 20 years old, showing no signs of puberty. Or the woman will be filed to be an islandess. So then there's no Yibum. And therefore they're going to be Asr Be'eshasach. So, yet our Mishnah says we leave them together. So, the Gemara's first approach is to say that our Mishnah is not Rav Meir. Where it says, Afilu Temer Rav Meir. Kiyom Rav Meir Gedoyla L'Kotten. A cotton tries to live with a Gedoyla. Uktana L'Godel. Or a young girl to an adult man. The Chad Minayu Bia de Isurahu. One of them might be living with an Eishasach. So it's Sofik Isur Erva. The cotton is not going to be Chai, but the adult was. Aval cotton abal ktana davar kiadarin in the law amar. Reb Meir never said his din. Als the gzeira of sorries. When it's a katana and a katana, because they're not committing an aveira. Or at least they're not getting punished for it. That was a case of cotton ala gedoyla and lechura that seems to be against Rav Meir. Ba shiny. Ba means not lechatchila. We wouldn't allow the lechatchila. If they had relations already, lechatchila, it's still better for him to get older, and so he can give her divorce if he wants to. And the chol bia ubia di surahu. For the gedoyla, every bia is going to be a potential isser. So in fact, the Gemara rejects Rav Chanina Choyza Elam Achvar. The Mastis is like Rav Meir. The Mishnah is not like Rav Meir. Now, the Kari kan lahakim lachiv shem v'haylav barachihu. In fact, Gemara now asks, why is a cotton and a katana allowed to do this? The whole point of Yibum is to make a name for the achiv. And a cotton and katana can't be molid. So, Amar Abai Amar Kra Yevama Yavo Aleh Koldu. Yeah, but even though they're not molid, the Yibum is done. Rav Amar B'lav Achinami Lo Matzah Samrid. Even without that svara, it's still okay. Are there things in halacha that now it's osir and after it's mutter? If at the time of yibum you can't say it's permitted, so harei keshes akshi yesh labanim, it's osir. Ve'ema chanami. Amar kra ki yeshvu achim yachtav afilu ben yom echad. Yibum is as long as the brothers were in the same world even one day. Meaning maybe it'll be usher if a woman fell in front of a Yovim cotton. There's still a din of Yibum if they live together even for one day. Then we said if she says within 30 days he didn't sleep with me, we believe it. We believe her. Because a man will go for 30 days and can hold himself back. And therefore we force him to give her chalitza. If she has a get and she wants chalitza as well. He says, I lived with her. But she's disputing that. Who is the Tana that says a person can hold himself back for 30 days? We allow a husband to show up with and claim that she was not a virgin. And with that claim, like they show the bed sheets, that there was no bleeding, to try to say that he doesn't have to give her the ksuba. Up until 30 days, he can make the claim because he can say, I never slept with her for 30 days. After 30 days, he can't make the claim anymore. Because, well, if you made where were you? Rabbi Yosef minister la alter. If they were in a modest place where they could have had bia, then he can do the Tainas Psulim right away. But if they weren't together in a private place, he can go even after many years. Af lachar kamashani. Rabbi Amar Filu Tem Rabbi Yosi, and our Mishnah could be even Rabbi Yosi, even though it talks about 30 days. Ad kanok Rabbi Yosi Yosem Ela Baru Saso. The woman he gave kiddushin to, and he hangs around with her. So we're worried that if they did yichud, he would have relations with her. Aval Eishes Achiv, but his brother's wife, Mivzis Bezivz Mina, he's embarrassed from her. Therefore, it's reasonable to say that perhaps it took time for him to get up the gumption to have relations with her. Okay. Tomorrow,